What up, y'all? So want to do this video, as the title says, 3 keys for leveling up. This was something that I actually had on the back burner for a little bit, but a goal that I set for myself too, as far as a side note, is consistently posting on YouTube, because it's one thing to get an idea, it's another thing to execute on it. And creating a YouTube page, I've had so many people that are like, yo, when you gonna create a YouTube page? When are you gonna put content on there and put more of your stuff out there? And I'm setting a goal for myself, so y'all can hold me accountable, of getting to 100 YouTube videos. So that's gonna take a lot of consistency and just more so execution too, just like thinking of something or having something come to me and just executing, right? But like I said, the title of today's video is 3 keys for leveling up. So let's get right into it. Number 1, right? You got to start reading. A lot of times I hear people say that they don't like reading, or reading is boring. So you got to get a book that's gonna, I look at it like, man, if I got to wake up, because I read first thing in the morning, 10 pages a day. I keep it simple. But when I'm reading a book, I want the feeling of like, damn, where has this book been my entire life? Like, where has this book been at? Like, because I read first thing in the morning, I'm almost jumping out of bed because I'm excited to read that book, because I know it's either going to challenge me, it's going to change how my perspective, it's going to help me grow in whatever area that I'm looking to grow in my life at that point, right? So if you don't have that feeling of excitement for the book that you're reading, then just put it back on the shelf and get a book that's in alignment with where you are at that point. And one great tip that I've heard when it comes to personal development too, is because a lot of times people are looking to work on their weaknesses, and a big key for success is working on your strengths. Like, it makes no sense for Tom Brady to try to, let's say back when he was playing, to figure out how to be a better running quarterback and how to run, a quarterback option, where he could keep the ball and run down the field and stuff. That wasn't his strength. His strength was, right, working in the pocket, keeping the offense ahead of the chains, right, and getting the ball in the end zone. That was what he was good at. So he just focused on, how can I be better at what I'm already good at? How can I work on my strengths and make them even stronger, right? So when you're doing your personal development, when you're doing your reading, don't just, you can study things that you're weak at, but also study things that you're good at. If you're a good communicator, read books on communication so you can understand why you're even a good communicator, and how you could even take your communication from, you might be a 9, but now you could take it to a 10, right? It's already a strength of yours, but you're taking it to a 10, right? But like I said, reading is a big key for leveling up, because it helps you to change your perspective, right? The book that got me to change my life, The Miseducation of the Negro, I remember this line to this day, and I probably read that book 15, 16 years ago. And it said, in life, we have 2 educations, the one that's given to us and the one that we give ourselves. Of the 2, I would advise the latter, right? And I read that line like 10 times in a row, and it got me thinking, like, damn, people complain about, the education that they get in school. Like, when am I going to use social studies? When am I really going to use science? When am I going to use da-da-da? But if you want to learn about money, relationships, health and fitness, mindset, whatever it is, you can buy a book on it, literally learn from somebody who made all the mistakes and made all the successes, and shorten your learning curve, where something that, could have taken you 10 years may only take you 2 years, right? Or something that could have took you a whole lifetime, maybe you could do it in a third of a lifetime, or half of a lifetime, right? Even if it just saves you 1 year, right, it's up, right? But get in the habit of reading. I personally always advocate for reading, because even with audiobooks, you're not challenging your brain, right, as you do with reading. Sometimes when you're reading, you know when you're not paying attention when you're reading. With an audiobook, it does work on your subconscious, right, because you could just be listening to it in the background. I could be listening to an audiobook when I'm driving. I could be listening to an audiobook when I'm lifting weights. But reading is something that engages your brain. It's good for your brain health, especially as you age, right? It's going to challenge you, right? Because you have to learn new words, right? Sometimes you don't know the words that you're reading. And you know, it just engages you to remain present, right? Being present is just a skill for life. It's a skill for great communication, right? All those different things. So like I said, read, and that's going to help you with leveling up. Number 2 is getting a mentor. So whatever level, whatever area in your life that you want to improve in, whether it be, your money, your business, your fitness, relationships, just mindset, whatever it is, right? You want to be able to, I'm going to turn on the AC, by the way. I am beaming in this car. I should have sat in the shade, right? Hopefully the AC isn't blasting on the sound on this video, but y'all should be able to make out my words. Hold on a sec. That's way better. All right, bet. Turn it down a little bit. All right, so like I said, having a mentor that's already, they are already at the place that you want to go to, right? They're way down the road. They've been where you've been, and they could tell you where to make a left, where to make a right, where to just keep going and stay locked in, right? So having a mentor is so powerful because this is somebody that, one, is interested in your growth, right? A lot of my mentors, they don't get paid from me, right? Financially, they get paid from me intrinsically because they just enjoy helping people, especially somebody that's hungry, somebody that's locked in, somebody that's gonna run the play that they give them, right? So getting a mentor is super powerful because they're gonna give you the steps. They're gonna tell you the pitfalls. They're gonna tell you where they went wrong. They're gonna tell you lessons that they learned along the way. And it's also, sometimes you just need that person that helps you to believe in yourself. It's like Luke Skywalker and Yoda. Like, Luke Skywalker was the one from day one, right? There was literally prophecies of him coming, right? And Yoda already knew this, and he was confident in his abilities, right? But Luke wasn't convinced yet, or no different than the Matrix, right? With Neo and Morpheus. Neo wasn't convinced that he was the one, but Morpheus knew that he was the one, but he had to keep encouraging him and pushing him and challenging him until Neo finally believed and knew that he was the one. So that's what a mentor will help you do, is like, they'll give you that confidence, like, yo, you the shit, you the one, you could do this, like, you built for this, like, I see greatness in you, like, yo, you're gonna do better than me. That's one thing that even Jesus Christ said. He said, the works that I have done, you guys will do even greater, right? That's what a great leader does. They tell you that you're gonna do even greater things than they have. That's what a great parent does. They tell you, yo, you stand on my shoulders, you're gonna go even farther than I have, right? So with a mentor, they're gonna give you that encouragement that you need, because the process, people talk about, enjoying the process, and that helps, but the process isn't always enjoyable. You have times of frustration, you have times of disappointment, you have times of doubt and fear, and every single emotion that's supposed to be pushed out of you so you can become the one, right? But it's not always easy to keep going, right? It's not always easy to put, one foot in front of the other. And that's why a mentor is so key, because you could send them that text message, you could give them that phone call, you could meet up with them in person, and literally their confidence is going to rub off on you, right? Somebody that's at another level than where you are, and it's not to demean you, but it just is what it is. They've put in the work to get to that higher level that you're trying to achieve, right? That confidence and that vision and that skill set, right? That work ethic, all those different traits that they have are gonna rub off on you just by being in communication with them, just by being in their presence. Sometimes a word doesn't even need to be said for them to rub off on you and for them to have a positive impact on you, right? So having a powerful is a super key aspect of leveling up in your life in any area. It's not just money. You can have a mentor for your relationships, right? Somebody that's been happily married for a long time, that speaks highly of marriage, that is aware of why their marriage and maybe even other marriages are successful, instead of getting around that tells you, oh, well, 50% or 40% or whatever the statistic is of marriages end up in divorce. If you want to be happily married, you can't be around people like that and most dangerously taking advice from people like that, because their mindset is that marriage don't work, right? So you want to get around people that have the mindset of, yo, marriage is a beautiful thing. You want to get around people, if you're a business person, you want to get around somebody that says, yo, having your own business, right? Doing something that you're passionate about is a wonderful thing. You don't want to get around people that are like, nah, you need to have a 9 to 5, you need to be safe. If that's not your lane, right? Whatever your lane is, you have to have a mentor, or you can have, right, a mentor. I don't want to say you have to have, right? But if you really want to take it to the next level, it's necessary. I'm going to just put it like that, right? And then lastly is a community, right? A positive community that's in alignment with where you're going. If you want to get in shape, you got to be around people that are in shape. So for example, I met up with a guy today that's interested in taking his health to the next level. And he was like, yeah, man, like nobody in my my family, nobody that I'm really around like that is pushing to get in shape. So I was like, yeah, bro, that's a problem, because you're just going to fall back in your old ways. You're going to fall back pretty much, or you're going to stay where you're at right now, because he hasn't even made progress to where he wants to go. He wants to start, right? So I'm like, bro, that's a problem. And that's why I told him, it's like, yo, we have a community of people that are living healthy, that are active, right? That are positive, that are pushing each other, right? And he's like, man, like I need that. I want that. And that's key, right? That's why seminars are so powerful, because you get around a higher energy, a higher frequency, right? Of people that are excited about what they're excited about. If it's a business seminar, they're excited about that business. If it's a health seminar, they're excited about, you know, their health, right? If it's a boot camp of, you know, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, whatever number of people that are there, they're excited about working out, right? If it's a relationship seminar, same thing. They're excited about relationships, but you're around a bunch of people, right? It's one thing to be with your mentor one-on-one, and now you're thinking like, oh yeah, it's just, you know, there's one guy or there's one woman that's the exception. But when you have a bunch of people that are on the same mission, on the same frequency, are excited, like I said, keyword, excited about what you're excited about, it keeps you more consistent. A lot of people fall off, right? Because they just can't stay consistent. They can't stay consistent with their eating habits. They can't stay consistent with their reading. They can't stay consistent with being active. They can't stay consistent in their business, right? Whatever area that they're trying to stay consistent in, right? But they're also not around other people that are consistent in that area. So that's why they fall off. But when you get around people that are doing what you're excited about, it's going to keep you locked in. You're going to stay focused, because you're going to see that person to the side of you putting in that work, right? If they're working out, they're like, yo, let's hit this gym, or let's hit these pull-up bars. You're like, bet. I wasn't feeling it today, but you know what? Because you with me, I'm going to do it. Same thing with your business. You might see your business partner doing their marketing, and you're like, oh shit, let me get on it. Like, I ain't even do mine today, or I ain't talked to nobody in the local community today. Let me go put in my work, because I'm around them. And again, it rubs off, right? They glean on you, right? So those things are super, super key for the level up, right? Reading, right? Take on that challenge. 10 pages a day is what I was taught years ago. I stuck with it, and it's definitely made a crazy change in my life. Having a mentor, I've been blessed to have multiple mentors, right? And these are people that I literally call them, and they pick up quick, and they ready, locked and loaded to pour into me. And then having a community that you could tap into, that you could plug into and get recharged. And you also want to contribute back to that community, right? Just by showing up, you a contribution, right? But by sharing your story, by adding value, by pushing people and being a good teammate, right? If you've ever played sports, or if you're in the military, or ever been a part of any group, right? You know that it's key to be a good teammate. You know, sometimes people don't know how to be a good teammate, but when you're a part of a group, when you're a part of a community, it's key to be a good teammate to that community, right? Being a key asset, right? Being a big part of being a key asset is giving back to whatever you're a part of, man. So I hope that helped out, man. These are things that have helped me throughout the years of me wanting to level up in different parts of my life, and I've seen just the fruits of it, man. So let's get it, let's go. Definitely share this with anybody that can make use of it. And of course, I'm always here to help more people with their health, with their, you know, income as well. If you're looking for an opportunity, my link is in the bio. Let's get it, let's go.